This is The Switch, finding solutions to support sustainable living and combat climate change at the individual level. Brought to you by the Fur Bearers.
It's gray, generally cold, damp, and rather unpleasant outside in early February across most of Canada. Fortunately, it's also a great time of year to get outside and start planting. Now, I know I'm out on a bit of a limb here, and that is a fantastic plant joke, but late winter and early spring are actually ideal for sowing many of the vital native plant species we need across Canada. To tie this into how it helps wildlife and the environment more broadly, many of the species we'll be talking about are essential to pollinators. Pollinators, such as bees, butterflies, and birds, play a crucial role in maintaining biodiversity by facilitating the reproduction of flowering plants. Their pollination activities contribute to the production of fruits, seeds, and nuts, which serve as essential food sources for various wildlife species. This interconnected relationship between pollinators and plants creates a foundation for healthy ecosystems, supporting diverse animal populations and ensuring the overall vitality of wildlife communities. And before I get into the list of some of the plants that are ready to go, there's one or two things to consider. First, cold stratification. This is a really cool process that some plant seeds need to go through. They require this specific process of imbibing water, soaking it in, freezing, and then thawing before they can properly germinate. If they don't get one of the steps in this process, they're unlikely to produce a plant. You can always quick start this process too by soaking, drying, and freezing seeds in your home freezer. Links on how to do this are in the show notes for this episode and at defenderradio.com. This process is vital to some of the most important native flowering species in Canada, so cold stratification is a good thing to learn a bit more about. When sowing seeds in late winter, it's also a good idea to review the plant's life cycle and ensure that you're meeting their needs in terms of weather conditions, stratification, soil, and sun. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, or USDA, released new hardiness zones in late 2023. This is a map that shows what range of temperature conditions geographic regions have and is necessary to ensure that we choose plants that will survive and thrive. Environment Canada is expected to release an updated hardiness zone map this year. You can Google USDA hardiness zone and the name of your area, or reach out to a local gardening club, naturalist club, or check your local library to learn more about this. Some of the most popular pollinator flowers can thrive when sown in late winter or early spring, including Echinacea purpurea, or purple coneflower, Rudbeckia hirta, or black-eyed Susan, and Aquilegia canadensis, Canadian columbine. The list of flowering native species in Canada is hundreds long, and each region is unique in what is necessary for their pollinators. So I'm going to limit my list here. But your local nursery, seed library, and various NGOs will have an extensive list of pollinator species suited for your region, soil, and sun conditions. Flowering plants aren't the only ones that can benefit from a late winter planting. Some native grasses and shrubs can also thrive when planted this time of year. And while some of them don't directly provide pollen or food sources for pollinators, they can create habitat for pollinators while they overwinter, as well as habitat and food sources for various wildlife species. If you're feeling down and blue with the gray weather like I am, remember we're through the darkest 10 weeks of the year, and it's time to start an exciting new growth cycle for wildlife, the environment, and us. So get outside and get planting.
Want to learn more about this week's episode and how your choices can benefit wildlife and their habitat? View the show notes in your app or visit defenderradio.com. To learn more about the Fur Bearers, visit thefurbearers.com or find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow host Michael Howie on social media with @HowieMichael on Instagram or Defender Radio Podcast on Facebook. Subscribe or follow Defender Radio to get notified about new episodes of The Switch and Defender Radio right on your smart device. Thanks for listening.